The Mayor Sadiq Khan set to attack what he will describe as the government's denial of the immense damage he says Brexit is doing. He wants us to rejoin. What is it that the London Mayor doesn't like about a democratic decision of the people of Great Britain?
What he's talking about is alignment with the EU single market, which, by the way, was not the decision of the British people. We did not vote to leave the single market. That wasn't on the ballot paper. In fact, if you were to actually
isn't that part and parcel of being in the EU?
No, because Norway isn't in the EU, but it is the single market.
Well, if we didn't vote for that, why didn't we stay in the single market then?
Because the Tories made that decision against our will. In fact, if you actually look at it, because we weren't asked about the single market in 2016. The only two elections we've had since, in both of those elections, parties that were firmly committed to staying in the single market got a majority of the votes. The British people have never asked to leave the single market. And as for the damage, that debate is pretty much over because we can all see it. In fact, the Tories aren't even denying it anymore. Rishi Sunak, our Prime Minister, he says that Brexit has damaged our trade with the EU. And he says the answer to our economic troubles right now, the poverty across the country, is economic growth. And his Chancellor, the guy he put in charge of the economy, says that rejoining the EU single market would improve our growth. He's simply choosing not to. So with millions of people across the country really struggling, he's choosing to keep us in pain. And their experts, the Office of Budget Responsibility, the economists that they use to make their economic decisions, they're saying that Brexit has cost 4% of our GDP. That's an equivalent of £100 billion a year, which equates to about 40 billion in taxes. So when you look across the country, things that need to be fixed, like the strikes, that's the worst estimates say that might cost maybe...
So rejoining would solve the strikes?
The most extreme estimates of the strikes say that it might cost 28 billion in order to pay them in line with inflation. That's the most extreme estimate. Well, according to the government's experts, the economists that they use to make their decisions, rejoining the EU single market would deliver an extra 40 billion in tax revenue. So they would easily be able to afford to pay them in line with inflation. So people's wages wouldn't suffer. This would solve the problems.